Oh yeah, and peace to the God. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
Yes, brother. Yeah, like I said, it's good to get you on.
Yes, sir.
Bring you on to the channel with the rest of the Muslim gods. You might receive a lot of backlash. Because people don't like us. So
I'm used
you
to it
might
by
have
now.
people. You know what I mean. You might have people wanting to, get at you. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you was on
Yeah.
there with the Muslims.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
no, but
used to
that
it.
that wouldn't really that usually just happens with brothers like in the nation of gods and earths when they get on
Yeah.
with me. Oh
Yeah.
man, the backlash that they get, brothers want to have private meetings with them now, like yeah,
It's on
so
both sides, brother, believe it or not.
no, no, I know, yeah, yeah, just I'm
Cause
more so
I've
with
caught
them.
to be honest with you, I have caught more flack inside the mosque for thinking outside of the box than I have from the common person. And this is not a strike at anybody, anything, but
Right,
Jihad to tell you that when you think outside the box, they always used to call us in the mosque in the early days of when I was there the bean soup scientists, because we read all the books and we were the debaters. And
right,
so
right,
when we was out on the street, it was like if you didn't read everybody's books, you couldn't really talk to nobody. You could just, hand them the paper, but if you couldn't engage with them, you couldn't really draw them into the mosque or the temple. And
right,
so I
right.
guess I was one of the bean soup scientists because that was my thing, debate. And then when I joined the Allah team under Dr. Wesley, True Islam, we call him True
Yeah,
Islam. All the guys know him as True
indeed,
Islam.
indeed.
Then Wakil, it just furthered what I had already studied and knew when
Right,
I
right,
got with the
right,
Allah
right.
team. Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean, definitely, like I said, the bill that you did, the deportation of the moon joint, I had
yes,
recently
sir.
posted, like that was you did that
Mm,
back in, it was like 2014 or something like that, 13 or something like that. I know
yeah,
it was an older bill that you did, what I mean,
2010.
which was powerful. Say it again.
Yeah, it was 2010. Me and a brother by the name of Al Latif.
Uh,
Um, he asked me. He said, "Brother, why don't you take your talks and just put it on DVD?" Because at the time, I was just building in the mosque. I was just teaching over the rostrum or little nooks and crannies here and there. I hadn't
right,
put anything up, but I had been doing stuff. So Al Latif said, "Just let's put you on camera and just record them." And I had did 13 talks, and one was deportation of the 13. One was called the evidence of the deportation of the moon.
mm,
Um, but I updated it, like I told you before. 2019, I did a PowerPoint, expanded it, and the other one was a little preachy, because when you're
right,
younger, you fiery, you more
yeah,
you kind of you got that preacher mode, but then as you grow, you settle more, you become into the science. So I presented the evidence because you had a lot of naysayers, and so I had to present the evidence to kind of quiet them up. I had got a
right,
challenge the
right,
other day on Facebook about, oh, we never went to the moon and we never went there, brother. You can't present any evidence. I said there were 6 moon missions. What are you talking about? There were 6 moon missions. So you pick the one that you think didn't happen, and I can prove that it did. So that's
right,
that's that's
right,
a
right.
yeah. So
The brothers got to study the science, man. They got to,
yes, sir.
and there's a lot of, new developments now in science now, you
Yes,
know,
yes,
from the
yes,
molecular, the micro scale, all the way
yeah,
to the, what I mean, with
yeah.
this new James Webb Space Telescope that they have
Right.
now that they're seeing out farther into, the
Yep.
universe and stuff. It makes
Yep.
Galileo and Hubble telescope look like child's play. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So
Yeah.
if brothers is not staying up on the new, you know, developments in the science, then you get left behind. You know what I'm saying? I
Absolutely.
really believe that.
Absolutely. And that's
So,
why, if you don't understand, when you really delve into the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching, you will see
mm,
that it covers all the sciences. It leads
indeed.
you into all those studies. And so
Right.
when you talk about the universe, the cosmos, and you're talking about especially your DNA,
Mm,
carbon, your DNA is connection to the darkness of space, how it's
right.
already in us, and that you
Right.
look you don't have to look anywhere else but within yourself to find what you're looking for in terms of every. I think Socrates said it the best. The Greek Socrates, he said, know thyself, for in thyself, when you study thyself, you will find everything that there is to be known about anything everywhere. It's within self.
Mm,
And
wow.
so Muslims, for the Sunni Muslims in the Orthodox Muslim world, they put God into outer space. They made him a mystery God. As well as the
Right,
Christians and the Jews. Nominal Judaism,
right,
Christianity, and Islam has
right,
mystified God. It's the spook God of Greek philosophy, not the God
mm,
of tradition. And I always
right.
tell people the God of tradition and the God of philosophy is not the same God.
Yeah.
Muhammad's God was a man. So was Jesus. So was Musa. His God, their God was a man God, and more specifically, a black God. And so
Mm,
that's been already demonstrated. Dr. Wesley's demonstrated. We are able to demonstrate the same thing. But
right,
yeah,
right,
they put God into outer space, and he's
right,
not. That's
right,
why I
right.
always say when Muslims try to recite Quran and say, "Well, he's on his throne," and Jihad always makes fun about this, and I add on to what Jihad said. It's real funny when the Muslims always say, "Well, God is on his throne above the seven skies." Okay, he could create a throne and sit on it, but he can't create a planet and stand on it. And, and Jihad always makes
Right.
that joke, and it's so true. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. That's true though.
yep.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever like study with the Sunni Orthodox community, or you was just straight nation? Were you once just some of your history? You were once five percenter, or like where did you what's your
Well,
background?
the day I registered to become a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, I always considered myself 5%. I
Okay.
just, to me, it was just natural to be a 5%. I know the enemy was able to, over the years, be able to come among the gods in the nation to kind of divide us. But I never saw a difference. All my friends that I grew up with was in the 5%. And so we
Mm.
built like it was nothing because we always our commonplace was the lessons. So
Well, you
we
said
just joined the military training of the men that belong to Islam in North America, which is in the 1 to 14 lost found Muslim lesson number one of the knowledge degree, and the 14 question and answer talk about, well, who is the what is the meaning of FOI? What is the meaning of the military training of men that belong to Fruit of Islam, the military training of men that belong to Islam in North America. So that's the only difference that we accepted the discipline inside the ranks of the mosque, but I never saw myself not as a 5%er. That's
right,
just.
right.
But I came in the nation in 1993. I accepted the knowledge of self through teaching Honorable Elijah Muhammad through Muhammad's Mosque number 25 in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay,
I was
okay.
straight out of high
I know.
school with it.
I thought you was from New York. I don't know why. I thought you was in New York at first when what I'm saying. I first heard you
I always
building and
considered
stuff.
myself a New Yorker because that was like my backyard because I
Right,
was
right,
always over
right.
there. Because
Yeah, yeah,
we was
yeah.
with
And a
soldier
couple
and
of
I was always there.
guards that say they knew you or say, like, yeah, I heard the guard building and yeah, so
Yeah.
I was thinking you was like, a Medina guard, you know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like Paul said in the Bible. When I'm among the Greeks, I'm a Greek. When I'm among the Jews, I'm a Jew. When I'm among whatever. So it was just natural. When I used to go to
right.
New York, I see the guys and just build with them. It was never no debate or no I mean, it was minor disagreements, but we always built in love. And then anything else that we didn't understand, we straightened that out later on as we continued to build and study because
Right,
certain
right.
aspects of the teachings and the lessons have to be nuanced
Yeah,
and being able to look at it from both perspectives but then find a common denominator down the line, and that's what connects everybody. And
right,
that's what
right.
always, I mean, it was never no difference for me. It was always, I love the gods and they considered me one of them. And so when I said I was in the nation, it
Mhm.
at that time it was just, it wasn't no difference. So yeah, Newark, New
Right,
Jersey.
right.
I call Newark New Jerusalem. I know the guys say it's Trenton, but I used to all call Newark. I called the New Jerusalem. For me, that was like Mecca for me. I know we know Mecca, Harlem, New York City,
Right,
but
yeah,
for
yeah.
me,
That's what
when
we
I was
called it.
in
That's what we
Jersey,
called it in New York. That's what we mostly refer to Jersey as. I never heard of now just or whatever until
right, right,
I
yeah,
got knowledge itself with the five percenters, but just street
right,
dudes is New Jerusalem.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. And
yes, sir.
I looked at New York. That was like Mecca for me, and Jersey was New Jerusalem. So it was like it was just always a sameness and a uniqueness and a harmonious connection. And so that's how it always was. Yes, sir.
What do you think what do you think, because me, brother Jihad, and what I'm saying, brother Wakil, we build on this sometimes. What do you think was probably the caused such a rift or divide among the five
Mm,
percenters to where now, oh, these guys want to follow one way, these guys want to go another way, like
hmm.
for instance, like the Muslim God rift.
Yes,
Like
sir.
some brothers now they're saying, we not Muslims. The father never taught that. You
Hmm.
know, it's an oxymoron.
Hmm.
you
Right.
know,
Right.
what else they say? There's so many different talking points that they use.
Hmm.
But when do you think that divide mostly manifested? Like during the late '80s, '90s.
I think it was you really didn't see it in the 80s. It really wasn't that it wasn't manifest. Or it
Right.
may have been there and we just never it was the elephant in the room that we just never talked about. But
70s, 70s, or 80s.
mhm.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Like what you just
yeah,
said. I could agree with that
yeah,
because even though I didn't
right,
have knowledge itself, I would
right.
know that like if a 5 percenter was like I remember one time, not to cut your wisdom, but I remember one
Go
time,
ahead, go ahead.
this God, somebody was like, yeah, you are you yeah, y'all Muslim brothers, y'all, because the mosque structure was so much into the 5 percenters on the street until you really didn't know the difference. They're talking
And so
about getting
exactly.
knowledge itself. The five
Right,
percenters is talking about getting knowledge itself. They talking
right.
about the black man is God. They talking about so like
Yeah,
the divide really just came in like in my
right.
estimation I would say like
Hmm.
90s, early 90s era.
Right.
That was the era
That's
where
correct.
now where if you
Hmm.
accuse someone and said, hey, are you a Muslim or whatever, like back
Hmm.
then brothers would be like, well, not necessarily like the Muslim, but
Hmm.
I'm something like that. It's something like that.
Right,
I remember
right,
hearing 5 percenters try to justify it like that or reason it like that to where now,
right.
oh no, are you a Muslim? Oh no, I ain't no, hell no. Like they
Yeah,
vehemently disagree with
right.
that now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll say this. In one sense, they're not wrong
Mm,
because when you it depends on your definition of what Muslim you're talking about. When you say Muslim, um,
right.
if you say Muslim in the strict religious dogmatic sense of the Muslim world, I don't even consider myself that.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
don't
that type
believe in
of
the
Muslim.
mystery God. I don't worship the mystery God. I believe God is a
Right,
man, and in particular a black man. Uh,
right.
um, unfortunately, the Muslim world doesn't even realize that the God of Prophet Muhammad was a man. But that rift came, like you said, in the 90s, and one of the elephants in the room was concerning the Savior, Master
Mhm,
Farad Muhammad.
mhm,
Oh, how that's also an add-on to the rift. A lot of it was just misunderstanding, misinterpretation of the
mhm,
lessons.
right,
Because to say that the black man is God and then say Farad is not God, when Farad being God grows out of the understanding that the black man is God. God was a black man before Master Farad Muhammad. In fact, we cannot even speak of his divineness outside of the black man being divine. His divine divinity springs out of the black man being God. So um it's just in a sense the way we put it, we strictly some of us that don't understand would put Master Farad Muhammad um in a and he is
mhm,
when we understand his knowledge, his divinity, his
right,
power, but it's not absent that of the power of the black God, the black man. And
right,
so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the first 20 pages of Message to the Black Man, he spends the first 20 pages, even before he even introduces Master Farad Muhammad, he goes into the science of God being a man and man is God. And
right,
so I think the conversation has to be in terms of when did that rift happen? We have to nuance the conversation and be like, well, these are the certain things that caused the rift. And then when you start looking at them, you're like, oh, then we start building, and then the understanding comes.
Right.
because, like I said, there's a lot of us that I was in the street with that we didn't see no difference of there was no difference of to me.
Right.
I used to
Right.
visit the Parliament in Harlem like it wasn't nothing. I would just go build with the guys. When any subject came up, we just dealt with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was
There was
always
a
me.
there, there was a time I remember when I first got knowledge of self. I
Hmm.
came in like the early '90s. I got knowledge of self,
Right.
right?
Yes, sir.
But I remember it was a time when the 5 percenters would, like squat up and you know what I'm saying, go down to the mosque and you
Right.
might
Yeah,
look in the
that's right.
audience,
That's
and you
right.
see,
That's right.
a row of 5 percenters. They in
Yep.
there, they got the universal flag on or
Yep.
whatever,
That's a
or
fact.
you know,
That's a
and
fact.
now they stay away from the only 5 percenters you're gonna see in Muhammad's mosque are Muslim
Right.
God, 5 percenters,
Right.
such as
Or
myself or whatever. But
or those that what used to call themselves strictly 5 percenters that I guess extended their understanding and now in the mosque because they have a particular understanding of the lessons that allowed them to go there. You know what I mean?
mm,
So
right,
that was always the thing because when you look at the supreme wisdom, Muslim and God is synonymous. You could look at it like when you say Muslim God, and people they it's like giving a vampire garlic. Like, man, no, there's no such thing. They'll say, oh, there's no such thing. But if you study throughout the lessons, you will see,
right.
well, who's the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, maker on the cream of the planet, God of the universe. Oh, how many original Muslims are there in North America? That original man
Look,
in the
look, look,
lessons is called an original Muslim. Who
look,
the
look. They
lesson number
stop.
two is called Allah, the supreme being of
Right,
the
look,
black man of Asia.
look. They stop right there though. Now the father they
Yeah,
say, "Yo, who's the original man? The Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, all this other thing, God of the universe." I was Muslim, nowhere in there, and I'm like, brother,
yeah.
there's more lessons to read though. Like,
Yeah, yeah. You got
you're not
seven
done
set of
yet.
lessons. And the English lesson C1, it tells you them original the original people, who is Allah, is called the supreme being, the black man of Asia. In the 1 to 10, they're called the original man. They're called gods. But these same gods are called Allah, the supreme being, the black man of Asia. In English lesson C1, them same gods called Allah is called original people. Or sometimes, and then later on, you read and said, how many original Muslims are there in North America? Those original Muslims is the Allah, the supreme being, or the black man of Asia. And so, because it's a reading of our lessons, I think, also a fundamental reading of our lessons that we're not doing. A cursory reading of the lessons would give you that understanding. You'd be like, okay, now I see it. I can connect the dots.
I,
Um,
I think
Brother Boris did some of that.
I would argue and say that
Mhm.
it's comprehension. It's
Yes,
reading.
yes,
It's reading. Like when
yes,
you have reading comprehension, you can read
right,
something and then you remember what you read.
right,
Afterwards, when I ask you questions about it,
right,
you know what I'm saying. It's like they're
right,
reading these whole 120 lessons,
right,
committing them to memory. But then you're
right,
like, you're a righteous Muslim.
right,
Right.
right,
You
right,
know what I'm
right,
saying? They like,
right.
but brother, that's what it
Exactly.
says. And then it
That's
goes
right.
so far as to say, if you don't know that, you're blind, deaf, and dumb.
Right. Yeah. When they ask you who's
Lessons
the
say
five
that.
percent, the 5% in the poor part of the planet are the poor righteous teachers who do not believe in the teachers of the 10%. All wise know the living God is and teach that the living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, the black man of Asia, also known as civilized people, also is Muslim and Muslim son. So
Right,
yeah.
right,
Yep.
right. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
I just, so that's the reason why I just say reading comprehension
Yes.
more so
That's
because
important.
it's almost like they're not comprehending,
Right.
what they read. And
Right.
I would also say that coupled with indoctrination,
Mm-hmm.
because and the reason why I say
I
that
agree.
is because when I give the lessons to someone who never read them before, and I'm like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
look through this or whatever, they automatically know it's dealing with some Islamic
Mm-hmm.
type of stuff. They don't
Right.
say, "Oh, this is some Jewish teachings," or
Right.
this some Buddhist stuff." Or they say, "This is
Mm-hmm.
some Muslim stuff. This some
Right.
Islamic stuff."
Right.
How can they see it? But people that have had these lessons for 25, 30 years, 40 years, would still
Mm-hmm.
say, no, we're not that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that shows me that it's indoctrination. It's a system,
Right.
it's systematic. How these youth are being indoctrinated
And
coming into the 5%
interpretation, you
today.
got those that are being interpreters of the lessons that are gearing them away from what it is intended to instill within them to have
Right.
them to look at it and understand it. The Honorable
Right.
Elijah Muhammad said he was only 3.5 years old in the knowledge when he answered those lessons by Master Farad Muhammad. He said if he can answer them 40 years later, he said he could write volumes. When he departed from among us, he wasn't the 3.5 year old in the wisdom he was when he left. And no one really asked him, the apostle, like, can you give us the understanding that you've grown into 40 years later? Because he said you could take the student enrollment, for instance. I heard Brother Minister Nuri said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he could write on the student enrollment for 1,000 years and wouldn't even repeat himself. He could
Mm,
write volumes on it. So it's like what we have is like just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the depth, the reservoir, and the depth of understanding and
right.
meshing and unifying that understanding. You know, when we
Right.
look at the flag of the gods, just the seven, and the black man is God, the seven. That universal sham God, he designed that. But he didn't come up with it out of poof the magic dragon out of nowhere. Universal Sham God, he designed it out of the universal flag of Islam, the sun, moon, and star, because he understood from reading and studying the messages teaching that, oh, that's what this represents. It's all there in the sun, moon, and star that the Nation of Islam uh that waves. It's there. That's how he designed it. Um Abu Shahid. He said, look, where you get the 26 letters from? The supreme alphabet, the supreme mathematics comes right out of problem number 13. So it's like all of God's
Wisdom is,
lessons come right out of the lesson.
and that's another thing too.
Hmm.
Back in the days, just talking about just the different ages of 5%ers, back in the
Yeah.
70s and the 80s,
Hmm.
5%ers, I knew a lot of gods that had the problem book. That was
Yeah.
5%ers. Even
Right.
though they may have said the father didn't give that to us or whatever,
Hmm.
once they
Right.
knew that, okay, this is the source where it came from, oh, it came from the same places the lessons came from, they took it. Once they looked at it and they
Right.
seen the knowledge and the numbers and stuff in there, the mathematics, they
Yep.
kept it.
Yep.
I'm gonna hold on to this. Today, they don't even know what that is, a lot of 5%.
And it's funny because
And they'll be like, the father did the mathematics, the
another
supreme math,
another
he did it. And I'm like, yo, he got it from
right.
somewhere. Have you read the problem
Yeah.
book? No, what's that?
Yeah, Abu Shahid said, but Wakil validated in his book, his 2 volume book, In the Name of Allah, the history of the 5%ers, in his 2 volume book, which I think everybody should have that. If you ain't got that on your shelf, you're missing a great piece of literature. But um here's the thing. If it's a cow that's in the room and a bull now, because the gods can't no longer look at the nation and say, well, we got these differences. You got so many schools of thought that is against the lessons, the supreme wisdom, the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and what we all believe in the supreme wisdom and the lessons. You got so many schools of thoughts that's taking stabs at the lessons that we ain't got no more time to be talking about. Well, brother, I don't see this, I don't see that. There's so many schools of thoughts that right now coming at us that have taken from it. Bill, you got the Kemites, you got the Moors, you got different movements. This esoterical Egypto metaphysics. It's so much stuff that if
And
you are not only that, you got people that are making claims about the lessons now, like Bilal Muhammad from the University of Southern California. I don't know if you're aware of him. He's trying to put forth the idea. I challenged him on it. I didn't ever get a response. Bilal Muhammad from the University of Southern California, I think he is a PhD or something in religious studies. He said that Master Farad Muhammad fabricated the um, the actual facts, and that he got the actual facts from the World Almanac Book of Facts. We ain't got time to be arguing. We got jokers that's even trying to say our facts is not even, stolen from somewhere.
that's not even a possible. Or
Yeah, exactly.
because the
Exactly.
year light, I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
the speed of light. and
Right.
the planet Pluto. Like a lot of
Yeah.
these weren't until after 1930,
Right.
after Master
Right.
Fard Muhammad's coming, which those
Right.
scientific breakthroughs didn't come until later on. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
he, if
Right.
anything, they got it from him. Because when
Exactly.
he came out and established what his teachings in 1930, now you start
Right.
to see all of these breakthroughs in science now
Right.
where,
Right.
we know light travels at 186,000 miles per second, or
Right.
you know what I mean, or
Right.
Pluto is for, like where they
Right. And
getting
you if
all
you
of a
if
sudden
you
where these
divide
numbers
the
coming from?
if you divide the speed of light into the distance of the earth from the sun, which is 93 million miles away, you'll get the exact time it takes for light to strike the earth, which is 8 minutes and 20 seconds, which is 500 seconds. Yeah. And so the World Almanac Book of Facts came out in 1926 and 1928. Those are the two editions. And
Wow.
so, well, they try to say, oh, Farad came in 1930. These facts was already out in
But he was
1920.
teaching
Now, you
before
know what I'm
that
saying?
though.
So you have to be able to, when they throw stuff like that up at your gate, you got to be like, oh,
Yeah,
I know, I could deal with that. Because I'm telling you,
yeah.
it'll shake a lot of people. Even what Paul Guthrie did. You know, a lot of the guys unfortunately sided with Paul Guthrie against Master Farad Muhammad, saying he's from India, he's a Buddhist, he's not a Muslim, and Dr. Wesley had to come straighten that out. And it just goes back to our study, like you said, in comprehension, because people come with all kind of stuff, and sometimes if we're not studied and rooted in our lessons the way we should, we just go with it. You fall for the
No,
okie doke.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. It's propaganda just on a higher level. You know,
Yeah.
the beast can
Yep.
use idiot propaganda to
Yep.
persuade the dumb, deaf, and the blind, the 85%, the lost
Mm-hmm.
found out there. But even
Yes,
for the
sir.
gods, people who study and who trying to gain enlightenment, it's
Right.
propaganda.
Right.
You better believe
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. I'm just
but
a realist. I just never, if I can't prove it, I leave it alone. I've never been the type of person to believe blindly. I've never been like that ever.
right,
Um, when I heard the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I had to be able to scientifically prove it. If I couldn't prove it, I left it alone. But everything that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught about everything has been proven. There's no aspect of the teachings that cannot be proven.
that's right. Everything can
Yes,
be
sir.
proven in no limited time.
No limit of time. That's right. That's right.
Yes,
Even
sir. Yes, sir.
to the
You
smallest
you
atom
you
and all of that.
right. You
Yes,
said
sir.
you had a new series that you were working on with some other lectures. You said you got another deportation of moon that was newer than the
Yeah.
previous one that
Yes, sir. Actually, the new series of talks and lectures that I did was posted on YouTube. But when I did the I'm not gonna call it for the sake of I'm not gonna get you in trouble. um,
oh yeah,
when I
yeah.
went
The
when
one
I
you got
when I
the
went
one you
on
got
when I went
banned
on the
for
yeah, I
the
got banned from YouTube because of my defense of the minister
right,
when they were attacking
right.
him.
Yeah,
Of course, with the scarlet letter of anti-Semitism, you know. And so I
yeah.
defended him. And when they took me down, they took all my videos down, but I still have them. If you go on my Facebook page and scroll down, you probably can find all of my new videos. I did one challenging young Pharaoh. I debunked him, and it was just it. I'm not gonna say it was a waste of time, but I had to do it just for the people. And it was one defending it's
Recent
one
or
I
this
did.
recent with Young Pharaoh, or this is a while back?
This is probably a couple years ago when he got on YouTube and he was spewing a whole bunch of crazy stuff about the nation and Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the minister and everything,
Yeah.
you know. So and I put that up there. It was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's still on Facebook. If you scroll through all my notes and everything, it's
Mm.
still there. And the one I did on Yakub, in the origin of the
Uh,
white race, is taught by Honorable Elijah
yeah,
Muhammad.
yeah,
That's still up there. It's 2 hours, and
yeah,
the
yeah.
new deportation of the moon is up there too. That's a pure PowerPoint. Because most of the guys they got the one I did in 2010, and I was just me and the guy Latif. We were just building, but I went back years later and I updated it, and that's
Okay.
actually on YouTube. I mean, pardon me, that's actually on Facebook as well. Yeah, that's
Mm.
on Facebook.
When you say you when you say you updated it, What do you mean exactly? Like, was there any corrections from some of the things you may have said before, or update as in like just new
Mhm.
developments or new studies to prove more of the science in depth that you
Yes,
were
sir.
speaking on before? Or
Yes, sir. New developments, more
okay,
evidence, new developments. I added stuff that I didn't talk about in the 2010 talk. For instance,
mm,
I might have mentioned it, but I like in the newest one, I had to present the data, the information and
mm,
the data on the ground so that people could look into it and delve into it. And one thing I don't know if I mentioned it in the original one, but I talked about the asteroid belt between
mm,
Mars and Jupiter. Um,
right,
and all of the scientists are saying the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter is actually the leftover debris or the remnants of a giant planet that exploded. And that
right,
giant planet that exploded is actually the Earth when it was in its original pocket before it fell from that pocket after it was blasted.
mm,
And so people like Michael Overton, Canadian astronomer, um,
mm,
proved through what is called Bode's law that of the six known planets that was known in the 18th century, they discovered from their limited astronomy that between Mars and Jupiter was a space that could hold a giant planet, and in that space, they found asteroid belt. And the asteroid had burnt explosive signatures on them, and they were not originally a
yeah,
part of our universe cluster of
right,
asteroids originally that was a
right,
part of the
right.
universe.
They
Hmm.
weren't germane to this our solar system, basically.
Right, they were new, they were recent. And
Right.
with close examination, they people like Tom Van Flanders, for instance, in his book Dark Matters, Dark uh Missing Planets, Comets, or something like that, in his book, which everybody should get, by Tom Van Flanders, who's done extensive studies on Mars. He
Hmm.
says that it's a that those asteroids, he calls them minor planets, have explosive signatures on them, which is
Right.
another
Yeah.
proof,
Yeah.
yeah, that it was blasted. And then all the evidence
Mhm.
about Mars is just the evidence about
Overwhelming.
Mars is just it's just unmistakably
Yeah.
remarkable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that it's without
So
a
many.
beyond a
It's so
shadow of
much
a doubt.
overwhelming information come from Mars, and I guess
Yes,
because
sir.
it's such so close to our planet,
Hmm.
so yeah,
Yes,
we can see that
and
there was
as the Honorable
definitely
Elijah Muhammad said, it was originally a part. It was originally our moon.
right, right, right,
Originally
right,
our
right.
moon.
Yes,
Yup.
sir. Yes, sir. Have you ever? I was gonna say before we close out real quick, I was gonna ask you, have you ever heard of the tribe of Jabbar?
The tribe of Jabbar. Oh wow, that's a new one. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
because
I've
this is
never
what the
heard of the tribe of
NGE. This
Jabbar.
is because again, like this is some of the things that they're teaching now. They're saying
Mm.
they're not the tribe of Shabazz, the NGE 5%ers. They're the tribe of Jabbar.
Oh wow, that's that's a new one because I've never found that nowhere any of the teachings or lessons. I've never heard even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or the minister even talk about the tribe of Jabbar. That has to be
So
qualified though. Someone has to
I mean,
qualify that if they're going to say that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, that's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I
Wow.
just thought I'd ask you that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I never heard of the tribe of Jabbar.
You've done more extensive research than me on it. I figured, let me ask you,
Right.
have you heard of the tribe of Jabbar?
Nah, bro,
You
that's a
know
new
what I'm
one
saying?
right there. You got me on that one. I never heard
Let
of the
me ask
tribe of
you,
Jabbar. That's a new one.
let me ask you this. Me and some of the brothers was online a couple of days ago, just debating, back and forth or whatever.
Hmm.
All of the tribes, a brother said that all of the tribes, because
Hmm.
originally there were 13, right?
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, one was,
Destroyed
so right,
in the
destroyed. So
explosion.
the
Yeah.
12, all 12 of them are Shabazz. All of them are named Shabazz. Have you ever heard that? All of the tribes are named Shabazz? Or is it just one tribe called Shabazz, another tribe called something else? Because I've never read
Hmm.
where the messenger said, this
Hmm.
tribe is this tribe is this, or,
Hmm.
now we could say the tribe of Jatu, or we could say
Hmm.
even though the messenger didn't teach that, that would be more like a
Hmm.
plus lesson to say those,
Yeah.
type of, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But what do you think about that?
Um. uh, Again, we got to nuance the conversation
Right,
because
right.
I that used to trip me up. It was a brain breaker for me because I delved so deep into it. I was like, man, I got to get to the root of this because sometime the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, of course, there were 13 tribes, one was destroyed, leaving
Right.
12. Then, if you read his lessons and his teachings even deeper, you're under the impression sometimes that 12 was destroyed, leaving one that
Right.
resettled the planet. So, which
Right.
is it? So was it 13? One was destroyed, leaving 12, or was it 12? Originally 13, 12 was gone and destroyed, and one was left. Because
Right.
that's the impression that you get. But
Damn, I can't
um
find the text.
it's something to that because the 12 tribes, in my opinion,
Uh-huh.
make up Shabazz. Um,
All of the 12
because the
tribes.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about, he said there was the number one tribe.
Mm,
It was then he talked about another tribe of Shabazz that went down
mm,
because the tribe of the Shabazz that went down into the jungles of East Asia 50,000 years ago is not necessarily the same tribe of Shabazz that came with the planet and resettled it
mm.
66 trillion years ago and settled on the best part of the planet Earth. It's Shabazz at two different time periods, but yet and still there is a connection, of course, because the
Yeah.
messenger said our nations never end. We
Right. Right.
evolve, we change, but we never end. And that was the
Right.
science of the
Right.
God, the black God. But yeah, um,
I can't
yeah, there
find
were
the
12
exact
and then
book
one was
because it doesn't.
destroyed. Say it again.
Right, because the brother said it was in one of the messenger's books. I'm trying to.
Mm,
Oh, I think he said Supreme Wisdom Book One, the
okay.
chapter 144. Wait, chapter 144,000. Oh, that's the chapter's name. I think the chapter
Okay.
144,000 in the Supreme Wisdom. He said
Mm,
in there the messenger mentions that all of the tribe, if there was 12 tribes of Shabazz after the moon got blown up, then there originally were 13 tribes mathematically speak. Okay, well, hold on.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I'm gonna
mm,
have to get back with you on that because he sent me. I gotta
yeah.
scroll. There's so many comments because we was going back. We
Right.
be on Facebook going in, God.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
yes,
gonna, I'm
sir.
gonna have to find
Absolutely.
the exact quote. Yeah, but it was
Absolutely.
an interesting discussion. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah, but
sir.
definitely,
Yes,
God. Yeah, I
sir.
want you to, come back and like if you got a presentation or something, and
Oh, definitely.
then bless
Definitely.
us with a nice, like I said, I got the
Yes,
thing
sir.
now on the StreamYard so you can share screen and
Oh,
so
yes,
whatever
sir. Absolutely.
diagrams or yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
whatever you
I would
feel,
definitely
bro.
do that. I have all my presentations. I would just have to know how to connect with you to show them or
Mm,
you showed them up there. And I could definitely do it. Just let me know when and then we'll troubleshoot and then I can put them up there, and then you can show them, and I can go through the slide. I warn you though that some of my slides is like 63, 68, so I would have to like cut them down because it's like Adam Elijah Muhammad said, "Do you believe or can you understand anything without definition?" Sometimes you got to show it to people and spell it out for them completely.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
Yahoo,
We can definitely
we
do
could
that.
probably work on in the near future soon the Yahoo and putting that up there for everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes,
There's
sir.
still a
Yes,
lot of
sir. Yes,
controversy
sir,
behind
God.
that.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Well, yeah, God, definitely,
I
man. I mean, it's
appreciate
good
it.
to, build with the scholars, the Muslim
Oh, yes,
God
sir.
scholars. You know what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying? And
True
definitely,
indeed.
man, Brother Jihad couldn't get on with us. I thought he was gonna click in, but he's probably still busy or whatever. So
Yeah.
catch up with him later.
That's jihad.
You know
That's
what I'm
jihad. That's the God jihad. Yes, sir.
saying? Yes, sir. But yeah, God, inshallah, man, we gonna build some more, Lord. It was good
Oh,
building with you,
definitely,
brother.
definitely. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes,
It was an
sir.
honor and a pleasure. I thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Peace to the God.
Peace to the God.
Peace.